Yeah, really true. It's okay. Yeah, talk to me. It's okay. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So I'm going on air now, and I'll talk to you later. All right. All right. Take care of you. Bye for now. Conversations. We all do have conversations at one point or the other. Now, if you're a business person and you're doing business online, you cannot shy away from conversations. So that is why today I want to talk about how can we make effective use of conversations when we talk, when we are trying to get people to see the value of what we are presenting to them. You see, when people see you that you are providing content online, you are giving them information, and you find out your conversation will begin to change. Now, people don't just see you as, oh, he's here to sell something again, or he's here to sell something again. No, they don't see you that way. But they're not seeing you just as a sales marketer person. I met two ladies from Canada, and we were talking, and they were telling me how horrific, I mean, how how much they detest salespeople. The other lady said that she's, as a child, she's seen her mother grow up. Growing up, she's seen her mother made to buy things that are completely useless to them. They never needed, they never used, because salespeople would just come, blah, 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 blah. So that she said that at one point she had to walk a salesman out who was trying to sell something to her mother. She just came down and said, all right, listen, it's enough. It's enough. She's not buying. You see, people love to buy, but they hate to be sold to. What they want to hear is stories, the value. They want to feel you, that you're human. My name is Stallone-Obaraemi Samuel, and I'm your friend. My sincere hope and focus in all of this is that we develop personal effectiveness in everything that we're doing in life, with different facets of life. So, talking about doing business online, you need to get in with the long term in mind. The key is for you to stick with the process long enough in order to build a strong network. You need to learn how to take people who do not know you, gradually warm them up, all right, and then turn them hot, okay? So, and for you to do this, it requires a bit of time. Now, when you take time and you do this, it becomes easier. It's like two persons getting to know each other. They get on a date, they talk, they spend time on the phone, they text. It's a process. Now, when turning people warm, you do not want to do it with pressure. You need to do it like you're in a party, like I mentioned, and you are getting to know someone that you're meeting for the first time. You have to be careful. You have to be respectful. You have to sense even the unspoken words. Be intentional in the language that you use such that it fits the demographics. Who are you talking to? Younger person, older person? Who are you chatting with? Now, this is the thing. Don't focus on selling. Focus on building a relationship. This sounds so counterintuitive. It sounds like, whoa, how long are you going to do that? We really want to talk and get boom, boom, get moving. You want to build, because remember, when you connect with someone, eventually, you are not just connecting with that person, you are, by extension, connecting with the person's network. I think it's worth the work, right? Trust me, even I that's telling you sometimes, I'm tempted to get impatient. I'm tempted to just talk fast, to chat. But the beauty of putting out these videos and having these conversations with you is that I'm not talking to myself. And when you talk with people, as the conversation goes on, you need to listen, you need to listen deep into their responses, and do not miss it when a prospect opens a door. When you say something, you ask a question and the person goes, okay, Person says something, and that's the boom, you dig in. When you dig in, you're not digging in to sell. What are you doing? You're digging in to find the pain point without being nosy. You have to be careful, respect people's boundaries, all right? Without being nosy, you think about the pain point. You use good questioning technique, open-ended question, probing questions, and close-ended questions. Well, maybe we'll do a video another time for that. Or you can also do some research. So when you watch videos like this, don't just expect all the answers in one video. That video is going to be so long. Many times, videos like this or resources like this are to wake you up to do some more research. If you are an entrepreneur, understand, like Eric Warder would say, some people make the mistake to think that you get into entrepreneurship because you want to work for a short time and retire. Entrepreneurs, really entrepreneurs, do what they love. You don't stop doing what you love, do you? So it's a way of life. The moment you see it that way, even when you make mistakes, you fall back, you bounce back because you know it's not a short-term thing. So back to online, what we're talking about in conversation. Be calm and cool about the information that you give. Do not give too much information to people when you're talking to them, because when you do that, you tend to overload them and they feel like, oh, I've had people who say, hey, hi, and then we start talking, and the next thing they send me like 500 pages of WhatsApp information to read. I'm not going to read them because you're saying, first, sometimes I'm not giving them permission to send that to me. So what they're simply saying is, Stallone, whatever you're doing is not as important as what I want to share with you. I used to have that mindset. What are you doing that can pay you so much? Listen to what I want to say. That's pretty much arrogant. It's I think it's a display of foolishness, and trust me, I've been there. Please don't be there. If you're there, don't stay there. So always understand that you have to give to people, you have to teach, you have to share value, you have to make your content rich. Because the process is you build an audience and then you nudge them, you nurture the audience. You build, you get them to like and trust you. Now I know many times we've had this like and trust factor, no like and trust factor, like broken record. But these are the foundational principles if you want to build any business online. The world has changed, different tools that's changed, different tools have come up, but the principles are core. And when you're talking to someone and you ask a personal question, be sure to answer that personal question first. Respect begets respect. Love begets love. All right? It's reciprocal. So if you want someone to, hey, okay, so by the way, where do you live? I live at number 17 Lucas Street, blah, 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 blah. Do you understand? And hey, how are you doing? How, you know, depending on the depth of the conversation. Same people, when I tell them, hey, I've got kids, and they're like, well, you really have kids. They're moved to also tell me a couple of things, but I'm also, you watch, and sometimes people don't still give up. They don't tell you things about them. Respect that. He said the fastest way to find the person's pain is to first of all share yours. Be sure to place yourself as the authority figure. Be willing. You have, I don't know what extent you're willing to go to, but if you are willing to be vulnerable, you find the other person also willing to lean forward, connect with you. But if you come from a point of, I have all the answers, and the person just goes, well, you know what? Get out of my sight. Person may not say it, but you'll see the action. So if we're doing business online, you're doing business online. Remember, I've put out a couple of videos and blogs on doing business online. Yeah, we keep learning and we keep sharing. It's important to understand you will always have conversations with people if you're really serious about it. And when you have conversations about them, this video is about how can you conduct yourself appropriately so that you do not lose them. You also do not unnecessarily go out of range. All right. So, like I said, when people tell you about themselves, when you tell people about yourself, they also want to talk to you about them. Now, what you do is make sure that you have your pen when you're having these conversations with people. and you have something which you can write, right? And you write down, okay? Because the reason is you want to remember what they discussed with you if it's a conversation like what I'm doing now. And then secondly, you also show respect that Mama just having this conversation with you. I want to find a pain point. I want to help. Right? So write those things, write what the key things that they tell you down. Because again, when you are, remember, you're not going to have this conversation endlessly. You are leading the person. At some point, you will have to close the sale. Don't forget that. At some point, you will have to ask for the money. But we're saying you have to do it professionally. But you need to understand these things the person have said. Pay attention to their timeline. You know, sometimes I talk with people, I'm probably chatting with them on Facebook and I'm checking them out. And I know that people also check me out. Okay. And when you check their timeline, spot things that are possibly holding them back. All right. Spot things about them. Now, two things about timelines. You can look at their feed on social media. You can also pay attention to their timeline as they're telling you stories about themselves. Look at where something is there a pattern that something happened at some point. I don't know how to say this, but I think when you're having conversations, it's like you're wearing the hat of a consultant and the hat of a coach. Yes. Sometimes people say, why should I have this kind of conversation for how much business science, about how much am I going to say or get? Remember, understand, depending on the product or service you are sharing with the person, you are not connecting with just this person. You are, by extension, working on connecting with the person's network. All right. So if it's a coaching session, if it's a coaching program you're having with a person, understand that sometimes you have a first coaching session and it could be about straightening things out, you know, talking about what they've been through, where they want to be, and how they can get there, work together. Understand, like I said, you're having conversations with people. Depending, some people have businesses that people could just click, 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 buy, go. But when it comes to long-term, big money businesses, it will require a couple of conversations where you will have to build rapport. You will need to find opportunities to professionally and smoothly transition into from a personal conversation to a business conversation in a loving and caring way. Now, this video may not be able to explain everything with regard to having healthy, fruitful conversations online, but I think that it's just the beginning for you to understand. First of all, you have to have conversations. So if you're that person that likes to hide behind and you don't want to have conversations, well, you need to ask yourself, do I really want to build a business online? Of course, there are businesses that you can build online. You don't need to talk to people. You do not need to talk to people. But many times when you see affiliate businesses or maybe coaching businesses or businesses that require you to explain a couple of things, even network marketing businesses, you probably would need to talk to people. Now, to wrap this video up, I want to mention 5 mistakes that people usually do or make when they talk to people online. Number one is they do not listen to the prospect. They have already made answers they want to give, so they don't listen to the prospect. They are not empathetic enough. They do not offer compassion. They have, it's like the way people sometimes, even me, the way people sometimes treat me, it's like they just send a message to Stallone. I'm sure you can read and understand. I'm not reading it. That's the truth. No. Because you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know where I am in life at that point in time. You don't know if I even care about what you're offering. So be empathetic. Be respectful of people. And be compassionate. That person that you probably knew a couple of years ago, you feel is a star and all of that, you never can tell what's going on in his life right now. So engage. Number 2 mistake people do make is they ask questions that are too hard to answer. They ask questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Trust me, that question is an old question. And Have you ever been asked that question? Do you know what happens? The moment that question comes, you conjure an answer to make you look intelligent. Many of us don't think 5 years. Even if we think 5 years, you probably are not in a space where you can properly, I mean, this may not be for everyone, but many times you're probably not in a space where you can properly vocalize your thoughts or your dreams or your visions. But in a class or somewhere, or maybe in a one-on-one, somebody asks you, you don't want to look stupid, so you just give him an intelligent answer. But that's not where you want to be in 5 years. So that's just one question that came into my mind, okay? Sometimes you ask people questions about their past, and you ask it in a way that it's hard for them. Man, they're not answering that question. So prepare questions that you can ask that are simple to answer and can gradually move the person closer to you. But between past and future, I think it's important to ask questions about their past, about their present, where they are right now. Leave the future. Maybe together you guys will figure something out. But number three, some people get into pitching so easily, like what I just said. People just go, I've done it countless times. I didn't know better. Boom, boom, there's a video you send, boom. Even till now, sometimes I get tempted to do that. But you know, the things you learn will come to you and say, hey, slow down. You feel like if I don't act now, someone is going to cover the market. You need your own market share. Speed is good. Trust me. Eric Worre has proven it over and over. Speed is good. Being quick is good. But I think you can be good, you can be quick, and be professional. If you pitch too easily, I guarantee you will almost always lose posture. That's a story for another day. I've been in places where I had a good community, a coaching community and everything. And the moment you just pitch a business, the wrong time, boom, you crash the community. Be careful, all right? Number four, you know, sometimes it's a trial and error thing, but it's important to be empathetic while learning the best way to proceed. Some people, the mistake they make is that they are not willing to try. And even when they try, they're not willing to look at where they need to learn, you know, good conversational skills. What did they do wrong? What did they do right? They're just stuck in their ways. The key here is for you to continue to have conversations. And the more conversations you have, the stronger you become, because mastery comes through experience. And communication is the number one skill everyone needs to have in life. Be it in your marriage, your friendship, whatever. You don't know how to communicate, it's going to be a problem. You know how to communicate, I tell you from experience, even in a family life, you know how to communicate, a lot will just take their place and things will just be fine. Number five, when people start giving you short answers, be careful, watch them. Then you know that they're not trusting you. Yes, no. Even when you're talking to your kid, you're talking to a friend because, you know, I know, yes, no, yes, no. But you know what? Stop talking about business and go back to building rapport. It doesn't mean that when you start to build rapport and you switch into business that you have to keep going. Watch. Sometimes once you switch, people go, okay, I was expecting this one. Yeah. All right. So what you do, double back, go back to building rapport. Let it be. Remember, it's a process. See that person as an individual. This is a process not to just get to the person, but to get through to the person's network. But you want to be respectful. And because you want to be helpful, try to kill the selfish part. Not easy, easier said than done. All right. So when you are able to double back, you're able to go back into building rapport. Trust me, it places you in an authority figure, and that makes people get to know you, and they feel, and you know, they get to know you. They get to sync with you. You know, the big content. This is the last thing I want to say. Stop. People like just throw business opportunities at people, especially, you know, people just do it anyhow. everywhere in the world, but I've experienced it more in developing countries like in Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon. The online business owners there, that's many times they do that, but that's not just like it happens in these countries. It also happens. I've seen people from the US, from the UK. I just interact with them on Facebook, and boom, before you know, they're putting me in a Facebook group and all that stuff. But some people have really been professional. But here's the thing: it's not about sending people WhatsApp messages, putting them in a Telegram group, boom, and then copying and pasting all sorts. People, the big shift I believe happens from what I've even learned, I've experienced personally, and I've learned from different people, is that the big shift really happens when you start creating your own content. When you start connecting with people from your own original point of view. When you start telling people how you feel, what you think about things, your view, your opinions, it might be right or wrong, but you're willing to have that conversation. You're willing to be proven to be wrong, and you're willing to learn. People are connecting with you. If you've not gotten to that point where you create your own content, you probably need to start thinking about creating your own content. Be it blogging, it might be on TikTok, it might be on Instagram, whatever way you want to create. But understand, tell people, I'm human. I'm like you. I know this very well and I can help you. Well, I know this to an extent. I'm still learning, but I can teach you what I've already learned. Can we work together? I think people value that more than when you come down and you feel like you're a superstar, you have everything figured out, you're untouchable, you're like here and all that stuff. All right, folks, I hope that this has already gotten to you. Today, this video is just more about how can you have good online conversations as a human being, as a human. Connect with people, provide value. Some of them may not buy from you, but they just might be the signage you need to link you to someone who would probably buy from you or do business with you. I hope that I've been helpful somehow, some way. I hope so. That's the idea of this video. My name is Stallone-Obaraemi Samuel. Please, if you're watching this on on YouTube, kindly subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to make sure that I get to as much persons as possible and encourage your friends to also do the same. Share the video, like the video. I like to hear your comments, read your comments, and work on them, whether they are for positive feedback or developmental feedback. I don't believe in negative feedback. I know that any feedback you give is either positive or developmental. You're either telling me, Stallone, thumbs up, or you're saying, Stallone, you need to do this differently, all right? And we will work on that. If there are areas you need me to talk about, look at them and see if something we can talk about. We'll talk about them. My sincere desire for you is that you go on succeeding by becoming a better version of yourself. Until I come your way again, stay blessed, stay strong, keep going. Bye for now.